This is The New School with your host, Christine Hong. Welcome to a new kind of school, where we talk about career paths you don't normally get to hear about in the classroom. Every episode, I talk to someone with an interesting life path and learn about how they got to where they are today. My guest today is Richard Sarvate. When I first met Richard, we were both software engineers together at Yahoo in the Bay Area. Now, just 5 years later, he is living full-time off doing comedy in LA, already making 6 figures a year. I've been completely blown away by how much this guy has transformed the past few years. Today, we're going to talk about how he pulled off his big career move and how he makes a living off performing stand-up comedy now. And also how he's helped found 2 stand-up clubs, The Setup and The Bunker, and is a co-producer for the biggest comedy festival in Los Angeles, the Southland Comedy Festival. Welcome to the show, Richard.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right, so when we met, I knew you had started your own comedy club, but I had no idea you wanted to go professional and do it full time. How did you even get started in comedy?
So the first time I wanted to do comedy was in college, and there was an open mic at UCSD at Porter's Pub, and I went there and I had my set all written out, and I was like, I'm going to put my name on the list, and I just couldn't do it, and I didn't perform for a long time. That was 2004, and then it literally took me 7 years before I got the courage to go on stage.
Like you were just there checking out a show and they were asking for people to perform?
It was an open mic, yeah, so anybody could perform.
But you had material written?
Yeah, I'd prepared material because I was like, I'm going to do this.
When did you start writing comedy material?
Yeah, I probably got the idea that I wanted to perform, 2002. And then, so I started writing a set, but when I got to actually the moment before I was going to do it, I just panicked. Yeah. And then I just put it on the back burner. I was like, oh, this is something I can't do. Oh, and now I remember. So then, May 2011, I went to Puerto Rico. I went scuba diving, and I almost drowned.
What?
Yeah, I almost drowned in Puerto Rico. Straight up almost died. And
now you're here.
I had a cheesy Lifetime movie moment where I was laying on the rocks I barely pulled myself out of the water. I was laying there and then just wondering if someone was going to get me. And I was like, if I ever get back to America, I will do stand-up comedy. I promise myself.
Should that be the episode description? From drowning to comedian.
I guess, yeah.
Amazing. So was that your number one passion, kind of? Because that was the first thing you thought of when you were drowning.
Yeah. I think comedy was always a big thing for me because, that was basically the only thing that kept me sane because I had such a weird childhood that the only thing that made any sense was comedy. The one rock was always I can watch really funny movies, I can watch stand-up and stuff like that, and so that brought some relief, and so that really made me. I think I just developed an attachment to stand-up.
How do you even get to perform on stage, though? What's the process like? I don't really have any idea.
Well, okay, so now it's a lot easier. There are Facebook groups where they have a schedule and stuff like that.
Are these Facebook groups called stand-up comedy or something?
Basically, yeah. There's,
okay.
There's one called the Bay Area Comedy Network, and they have, it's just they will have an Excel spreadsheet that you can download that, has a list of all the mics, and people have worked to combine their information. Yeah.
Okay, so after that first show, did you keep performing, or did you take a break, or what was next?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was like, oh, now I have to do that again.
But it felt good, right?
It felt good, but it was still so scary. It's like going to the gym, you know what I mean? It feels good after you go, but then you're like, wait, I have to go again?
Yeah, I get that feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like that. So at first it started okay, I would do one open mic every 2 weeks. Then it became one every week. And then it just kept on going until it was now I'm doing basically shows every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
And at these open mics, you pay to perform, right? So how did you go from paying to perform
to, you said, getting free drink tickets to perform to actually getting paid to perform?
Look, I'm 8 years in now. I'm to the point where I just got my first headlining week ever.
What does that mean? Like, you're the lead performer?
Yeah, Doug Stanhope, he has a comedy club in Arizona.
Okay.
And he's a part owner with a couple other people, but I went and headlined that comedy club for 3 nights, last month. And that was my first time. And that was the first time I made like legit comedy club money.
How much is that?
They paid me $1,200 for 3 days.
Dude,
yeah,
awesome.
and they paid for all my travel and accommodations and stuff like that.
Ooh, that's awesome.
It was really tight, yeah.
How did they find you?
So Doug Stanhope tweeted, there's a comedy club in my hometown now. And so if you want to submit. And I think I just was like I think I was the first person to submit. Like earlier that day, me and my friend had been talking. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with comedy. And he was like, why don't you try going on the road? And then I was like, I don't know how to do that. And then later that day, Doug Stanhope tweeted like, new comedy club. And then my friend screenshotted it and sent it to me. And then I submitted and then they just had me come out.
Nice. Oh, so he was following him on Twitter or something?
Yeah.
What do you have to send him to get accepted?
I sent him just my credits and my video of my set.
So like a resume and like a short video of previous sets.
Yeah,
cool. And he liked it.
Yeah, he said he got 200 submissions and he liked mine the best, which is really crazy. That was like a huge compliment.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge.
Was that one of your like, wow, I'm making it moments?
Yeah, that was I've had a few I'm making it moments, but yeah, that was a big one.
How did you transition again from like paying for the open mics to like not having to pay to getting paid? Because some people get stuck in open mics forever, right?
Yeah. So you can't do too many open mics. If you do only open mics, you will just eventually want to quit. Or,
why?
Because it's a grind. It's like drudgery. It's hard to make other comedians laugh. So.
Because the only audience is other people going to the open mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
So essentially the way it works is you do a bunch of open mics and then the people in the audience have some shows that they book. So you'll do well at a mic, you'll make friends with someone, they'll put you on their show. Now you're getting to perform for real people. And then you start building a feedback loop of that. You're like, okay, you start posting on social media, this is the show I've done. So other people recognize like, okay, we'll put you on a better show. And then you just keep on growing organically. So to make money in comedy, there's literally only a couple things you can do. Like you can perform at a comedy club, but you're not going to get paid very much unless you're headlining. And then the other way is you can do corporate gigs. So like Google has an event and they'll pay pretty decent to get you at one of these events. And or you can perform at colleges. Colleges pay a lot. But yeah, so those are literally the only ways to make money just doing pure stand-up.
Oh, unless you have like your own show, like Amy Schumer or a Netflix special. What?
Right. Or the fourth one is be famous. Yeah, once you're famous, it all falls into place.
All falls into place.
It's funny doing this thing because like I'm not like I am a success in terms of that, like I'm living off of this, but there's so much further to go. You know what I mean? Yeah, the industry does not necessarily know who I am.
Like who's industry, like producers of shows for Comedy Central or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, so I need to be represented. Like I have a commercial agent and I have a college agent, but
oh my God, a college agent? Just for booking college gigs?
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you,
okay.
How do you book college gigs
and
the corporate gigs? And what was the third one again for profit?
Colleges, corporate, and then comedy clubs. But comedy clubs don't pay very much.
So this is like, before you're famous, those are the only 3 ways to really make money.
Yeah. Or be a producer.
Which you do. You produce shows.
I produce. But it's weird because I actually don't consider that stand-up comedy. I'm producing a show. Like, I'm making money sitting right here like while my club is going in San Francisco. I'm not doing any stand-up.
I know, it's so chill. I'm so jealous. Okay, and you said half your money is from producing things like the comedy club and the festival, and the other half is now from performing, right?
The other half is from performing, yeah. So yeah, colleges, corporate gigs, and whatever, comedy clubs.
How did that ratio go over the years? When did the comedy club even start? Like, when that happened in your stand-up career?
Yeah, I mean, the first comedy club that paid me to perform was, it was the Purple Onion in San Francisco, which is closed now. Yeah, I remember. My very first time I made money doing stand-up was I was opening for this comedian named Will Franken. Not Al Franken from SNL, but another comedian, Will Franken. And he gave me $50 to host the show, and I was like, fuck yeah. Making it. But yeah, so that was the first comedy club, and then I got passed by Live Nation, so I can perform it. They only have like 4 comedy clubs, but so I can basically host at their clubs and get. Look, it's only like $50 for like doing a spot.
Wait, what do you mean by you got passed by Live Nation?
Being passed by Live Nation means that you auditioned and they said, yeah, you can work for us.
How did you find that audition?
So, right. So the Live Nation has a comedy club in San Francisco called The Punchline. And,
right. Very famous. Yeah.
Very famous. Yeah. And so they have a process where you have to go every Sunday for 8 months and just sit there. And then they'll put you up one time, and then...
Wait, every Sunday for 8 months, you just sit there for how long?
The whole show. So there's a showcase on Sundays of, like, locals.
Okay.
So you go for 8 months, you sit there and you watch the show.
For, like, an hour?
Yeah, it's like, the show's about 2 hours. Like, you could leave, but, like, you show face every Sunday.
Okay.
And then they put you up one time on that show.
How do they choose who goes up?
The booker is just walking around. He's, like, looking like who's been waiting and stuff like that. And
they purposely choose people who have been sitting there a lot. They've seen a lot.
Yeah. They're like, okay, you've been coming here for a long time, 8 months or whatever. And they're like, tonight's your shot. You're going up.
That's an interesting strategy. It's like, we only want people who really want it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I was like, I have to watch comedy every Sunday. Like,
you're like the dream. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll just sit here and just watch.
Living the dream. Okay, cool. So he picked you up to go up, and
I went up. I did well, and then
for like 3 minutes set, or how long?
They put you up for first time. They put you up for 6 minutes.
Cool. And then there's like some judges who think you're funny.
Well, the booker is there.
Okay.
So he liked my set, and then I had an audition, and then I passed the audition. So then that was the first time I had a comedy club paying me money to perform.
And that was how many years in?
Yeah, I think it was probably like 4 years into comedy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So to summarize, booking comedy club gigs and getting corporate gigs, those just come from performing, constantly having people notice you, making friends of other comedians who then invite you to perform on their shows. So do a lot of comedians end up producing shows to get ahead?
Yeah. I think as a comic, you have to produce to...
Okay.
Because you have to provide... Yeah, because I mean, some people can get by on being just like so fucking funny that like people just have to book them. But like by and large, you have to be providing some sort of value to people to get to meet everybody. Like, no, you know what? No, even Even if you're a good comic, you have to produce a show. There are some great comics right now. Yeah, they all run shows because that's how you meet everybody.
All right, guys. So if you're disorganized and don't want to produce, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You have to. Like, yeah, so many people are like, oh, I just want to be a comic. I don't want to run a show. I just want to work on my comedy. It's like, okay, but yeah, no, you're not going to get to know anybody.
Can you explain to me what producing is and what it involves?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're producing, but if you're just producing a comedy show, like, you got to find the venue. You got to make sure, you have a good time slot. You got to, you book the comedians. You have to do all the branding, flyers, you have to figure out ticketing, and you have to get your advertising and promotion.
Besides a producer, what else do you need to start a comedy club?
Yeah, you need a venue. You need a dope-ass venue, and they have to be on board with comedy. I think if you find the right venue, then you start from there.
Okay, and what else?
Oh, and I think you need a regular cadence. Like, it's every second Thursday. Like something regular. I don't really understand producing shows where it's like, this is my comedy show and it happens randomly. But there's people do it all sorts of different ways. Like, I mean, there's this group right now called Don't Tell, and they do shows where it's in a different place every single time.
What? Oh, like So Far Sounds, where it's like a cool mystery?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So you buy a ticket and it says what neighborhood it's going to be in, and then on day of, they'll tell you. So you buy tickets, and then on the day of, they'll tell you the address.
Oh, it's exactly like So Far So.
So how did you start your first comedy club, the Setup in San Francisco? How did you meet your co-producer, Abai?
Yeah, I mean, I met Abai at a really bad open mic. So we just stayed in touch, and then Abai just messaged me one day. He was like, I found the coolest venue. Let's go check it out.
Okay, cool. So he was like, I found this venue. Do you know how he found that venue? Was he like looking to start a comedy club?
Yeah, there used to be an open mic at that venue, and I just looked at the space and he was like, oh, if there were people here, this would be a great show. Oh, it used to be an electronic club. So the DJ would start at 10 p.m. So we're like, oh, we'll do shows at 8 p.m. Because nothing was going on before that. It was totally dead. So we're like, we'll just bring people in. He was like, hell yeah. Literally, it was free to start. And we just designed some art. Like, it's just logistical work. You know what I mean? Make a poster, make a ticket link, book the comedians, you know, market the show.
But I'm sure there's other people who tried to launch comedy clubs in San Francisco who failed. So I'm wondering what made the Setup so successful. How did it rise so quickly? I
think literally the main problem people have is just like maybe people could get people to show up to a show one time, but then, you know, they fuck it up somehow. Like they put the wrong comedians on, or they put like 20 comedians on. So like, I think we just did everything right. We got people to the show. We made sure the show was 80 minutes long. We made sure that everybody was good. One important thing we did was we charged money for our show. Like a lot of comedy shows don't even charge money.
Oh, how much did you charge in the beginning?
In the beginning, we just charged like $5. Yeah, so now we're up to $15, and we're like, okay, people are like...
Ooh, 15.
15, and you have to buy a drink. So it's
my God, that's like $25.
You have to spend $25 to come. Yeah, so it makes it like legit. You're like, do you respect comedy? Yes. Okay, show up and let's do this.
What are your strategies for choosing which comedians to book for a show?
Being a booker is a very hard thing. Like, it's super hard to say no to people. Like, I'm in a position now where it's like people are like asking me for stuff all the time. And if I said yes to everybody, I would basically ruin all my shows. So I'm in a position where I have to say no to people just to keep the quality of my shows good. And then that hurts people's feelings. And then, you know, there's this whole thing like...
Right, because you're friends with all these people.
Yeah, these are my friends, and I'm being like, yeah, you're not good enough.
How do you reject them?
Yeah, usually I'll be like, send me another video in 6 months. Like, I think you're funny. I just think right now maybe your act needs to be a little tighter.
Nice. Do you feel like people treat you differently because you're a booker and can decide who gets to perform?
You know, it's like, it's weird because you can't really tell the difference. Because I noticed as soon as I started that show that like, oh, people liked me more.
The Setup?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is like interesting. Like I'm relevant now. So it's like, you know, it's hard to like tease apart human emotions and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, but yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, yeah, when you have something and people want it, they're nice to you. And it's really difficult to tell if they're just being nice to you or if they want something.
That's true. But you can also tell if you click or you don't click.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You'll have more problems like this when you're famous. So just like, you're gonna like, you just like deal with it later.
Cool. So we covered how you set up the Setup. No pun intended. You also have a successful comedy club in LA called The Bunker. Was setting up a comedy club in LA a similar process to the Setup?
Yeah. So I tried producing at the Improv. I tried producing at this restaurant called Genghis Cohen. They have a side room. I tried producing at the West Side Comedy Theater. I tried producing at this club called Three Clubs.
Oh, wow. Like 4 different attempts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like there's even one more. But, oh, yeah. I tried producing at this place called Beetle House. So that's 5 places. But no, The Bunker succeeded because basically I have control over the entire venue. It's my venue. So the same thing.
Because you pay rent for it?
Yeah, I'm renting it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can do anything I want. No one can tell me like when to produce a show or like, you know, what to do with it. So at the Improv, they were telling me like, they would give me spots at like 10 p.m. on Wednesday. I'm like, no one's going to come, you know, I can't, It's hard to get people out. Then same thing. Yeah. West Side, they would give me really bad time slots. Genghis Cohen was okay, but then they renovated the space, and then after the renovation, they were like, the owner was giving me a hard time about restarting our shows. And the 3 clubs, oh my God, that space is amazing, but the owner would just randomly cancel our show 1 or 2 days before the show for like a private event or something like that. They were just like, literally, they're just like, okay, what makes more money? Oh, this private event, cancel the comedy show. It's just like, and so they just like dicked us around.
Because you didn't have like a contract or anything, so they can just do that?
Yeah.
That sucks. Okay.
Yeah. But then the bunker is like, so I was like, okay, so I need to have full control. That's the only way for me to like stop all these things from happening.
Yeah.
Like I want to have the best time slot. I don't want my show to be canceled, and I want to make the space look exactly like I want it to look.
Okay, which was, what are those things did you end up choosing for the bunker?
Yeah, like we made it look very similar to the setup. Like same thing. It's got super low ceilings, and it's really like vintage in there. Like we have these booths from the 70s in there. Then we put like these really cool Edison lights all over the place. So it's like this like reddish glow is everywhere. And same thing as the setup. We really pack it in. Like the room is, I mean, it's maybe like 800 square feet total, but we fit like 50 people in there.
Okay.
Like it's like a tiny,
yeah.
It would be like a studio apartment, but then, we're putting in like 50 people. And it's also got the speakeasy vibe, because like you can't tell that there's a club there from the street.
Are we allowed to talk about the finances? Because that's what I'm really curious about.
Oh my God. Yeah, am I allowed to talk about the finances of the setup? Let me think about that. I mean, I could do it like this. Like you could just figure out how much money we make just based on how many shows we have and the capacity. So, it's like, I don't really want to, because Abai is my co-producer and I don't want to just give away his information
Get it. Yeah.
Without his permission. But, think about it. We have shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got 2 shows on Saturday. The venue seats about 70. Each ticket is $15. Most of the shows are sold out. The Wednesdays and Thursdays kind of are lower, and the shows basically every week. And, I would say like advertising money is basically maybe like, at this point, it's not very much. It's maybe 15% of our budget. So.
Is that your only cost?
Yeah, I don't think we have any other costs other than that. Yeah. At this point, it runs itself. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, and we, give some money to the performers too.
Nice. That's so nice. I
know, it's so nice of us.
So rare.
Yeah. Well, that is true. I mean, most people do stand up for free, so.
Yeah, you don't just give them copy credit meals. This is we like give films.
Yeah, it's funny. I've made so many drink tickets from comedy.
Oh, that's your only form of pay? A drink ticket?
Like at most places. No, I give people money, but then I give them money and a drink.
Right. I meant like when you were performing.
Yeah, generally. Yeah, generally when I perform, it's like people are only giving me drinks.
Got it.
In LA. If you go outside of LA, then people are going to give you some money.
Okay, how about the bunker? Because you actually pay for rent, so you have a lot more costs there, and you only have 1 show a week, so.
Yeah.
Is that just like on the rise to become profitable right now?
Yeah, I think the bunker is like making a little bit of money right now. But we only have shows on Saturdays. So once we start adding Fridays, because Saturdays basically pay for our rent and give us a little more money. But once we add a Friday, that'll be pure profit.
So what do you do with the venue, like Sunday through Friday right now?
It's empty most days, but we rent it out for random stuff like Freeform TV filmed a scene for one of their shows there in a comedy club. They rented it out. We have it listed on Peerspace, so people rent it out for all sorts of stuff. Like there was a high school talent show the other day.
Oh, nice! That's actually really smart. When do you start paying the comedians?
I think as soon as the business is making money, then you want to start paying. Right now at the bunker, like on a weekly basis, we are making some money, but like I'm in debt overall, so I have to like shave all that down. So I don't pay any comedians right now. So once I get that figured out, once we are in the black, then I'll start paying people.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's What's the average that people get paid for these things? It's like a 10-minute set or something?
Yeah, I mean, people don't get paid very much. I mean, it's like $20 for 8 minutes.
Okay.
You show up, you get your $20, you get your drink, and you do
Hey,
your set.
but times 7, that's like, like $140 an hour.
Right, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird with the payment because it's like, it's like suppose there's 70 people at the show, then $15 a ticket, you're making like around $900, but then, 150 went to advertising and then another 150 went to the comedians. So then you're taking home $600, which is cool, but it's like, I mean, yeah, like, so $20 is fair. Yeah. Whatever, like, it's fine. I performed at the Ice House on Saturday and they gave me $35.
Ooh.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I was like, is that the most? I was going to ask what's the most you can get for a set.
Oh, no. And then the punchline, if you're like do a short set, you get like $50. And then it depends on where you are. So if you're hosting at the punchline, you get $50. If you're the middle spot, you're getting like $100 for a spot. And then if you're headlining, then it's just like it's up in the air.
Was when you first started making money off comedy, I'm guessing it was more money from the comedy club first, right?
Yeah.
Was there like this moment when like it started becoming 50-50 from also performing, or was it just gradual and you're like, oh, it's 50-50 now?
Yeah. I think, it was very gradual. Like, I mean, at first I was like, I was like digging into my savings, and then like, the setup took off, and then, so then it was like, okay, like I could pay for like flights and like my rent with that stuff, but then, still like I was digging in, and then like, I would say the producing part is what took off first, and then the like money from my actual stand-up came second. Because I also gained notoriety by being associated with the setup.
Nice. Oh, is that true for most people? Like they produce first and perform and get the money?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you need something that like brings you to relevance. Like, so people, now it's funny, like people message the setup just like, and they're like, excuse me, we need a comedian for our event. This is crazy. I booked my friend to perform at a 50th birthday party for, just for like 60 people in Big Sur for $10,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that was
Why
such
did
a
you do
good
it?
I was like, I don't even want to go. Let's just make money here. You know what I mean?
Did you get a percentage of that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're
totally.
like an agent now.
I'm an agent now,
You have so many different jobs. Like producer, booker, stand comedian, agent.
I know. But I also feel like that's what LA is. It's like you do everything.
Everyone is a multi-hyphenate here,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
It's kind of awesome. Cool. When do you know if you're ready to move from SF to LA? Like from a smaller region to Los Angeles?
Good question. Yeah,
and Los Angeles versus New York. I'm curious.
Oh, wow. I love this question. Well, okay. Well, the first one, leaving San Francisco is like, you basically want to leave before you become too big of a fish in a small pond. Some comedians, can make it from San Francisco, but what happens is like, they'll get an opportunity down in LA. Like somebody will hear about them because they did something in San Francisco, and then that event will bring them to something in LA. Like, wow, we heard you won the competition in San Francisco. Do you want to come down to LA to showcase for some people? So if something like that happens, then you should probably move to LA. But for me, I hit the ceiling in San Francisco in terms of just what there was to accomplish.
Right. Yeah. You're like, I've done Punchline, the #1 club in SF. So it's pretty obvious for you. Yeah.
So then I was like, let's just go. And that's when I moved.
Is it possible to move too soon?
It is possible to move too soon. Yeah. I would say like, because LA is crazy. Like for comedy, like it eats people up. Like there are multiple comedians from San Francisco that have moved here and been like, oh fuck, and then just have like moved back to San Francisco.
So is it impossible to like have no comedy background and just start in LA and actually make it, you think?
It is possible. Yeah, but you have to have this extreme tenacity, and you have to have a lot of confidence. And you have to leave LA a lot also. Because in LA, you can feel insignificant here.
Do you feel significant here? Or not insignificant?
Not insignificant?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gaining relevance right now in LA, so like I'm feeling more significant.
How you think?
Just like I think everybody knows me now.
Because you perform and met so many people?
Yeah, I've performed so many places. I've booked my show at the Bunker, which has a reputation for being amazing. Now I'm producing this festival, which if it succeeds, which I think it should, like it will literally be the biggest comedy festival it'll be the biggest stand-up comedy festival that LA has ever had. If somebody gets into this festival, they're going to get to perform for literally, the biggest TV executives, casting directors, bookers, agents, managers. They're all going to sit in one room and watch comedians do comedy. We want like 1,000 submissions.
Yeah.
And then we're going to pick the 40 best ones. Then we have to organize, whatever shows, the show schedule. Then we got to get some like branding. We got to make signs. We have to organize after parties. We have to
Ooh, can I come?
Hell yeah, you can come. Of course, yeah. You can be my plus one.
Amazing. I'm so excited.
Wait, we forgot to talk about why you chose LA over New York. Can you explain how you made that decision?
Oh my God, that's actually a really interesting question. And I thought about this a lot. I like the dynamic between the two cities. LA is like really interesting. On the one hand, it's superficial, but on the other hand, you know what? Okay, so LA is like the Wild West. It's like, you don't have to work that hard, but something could pop at any minute. Like LA is all about working smart. You know what I mean? It's like networking, thinking of like ways to do things, creating interesting projects. New York is like a grind. Like, oh, I'm going to perform 4 times a night. I'm going to pick up $50 at each club. There's still like a comedy club system there. You know what I mean? Like,
what does that mean?
Like, there's enough comedy clubs there where that can still be a thing. That like, oh yeah, my thing is I perform at 4 comedy clubs a night, and I'm able to make my rent doing that.
LA doesn't have enough to do that?
No, there's like, you can't make a living just performing off of comedy clubs in LA. So what a lot of people say is they say get good in your hometown, then go to New York City to practice like hell, and then go to LA when you're ready to be seen.
Nice. And you skipped New York because you had already risen so fast.
Well, I skipped it for a couple of reasons. I skipped it because I felt like I got a little bit of a late start.
Yeah.
And so I also was like, well, I could go to New York for a few years and like grind, or let's just see if I can do it. And so I just decided to risk it and just go straight to LA.
That totally makes sense. Okay. So next I wanted to talk about agents and managers. What kind of agents do you have right now?
I have a commercial agent, so they send me in for commercial auditions. Right. And I have a college agent. They just handle my like bookings through NACA.
How did you get the college agent?
I just submitted, and I looked at other people on the roster. So I'm with KP Comedy. It's like this really good college agency. Like, I'm so stoked.
You just submit your resume, your headshot, and like your reel?
Yeah, pretty much. And I also needed recommendations from people already on their roster. So so I got a few like recs and got in. Yeah, that's actually a big like success for me.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
What type of agents are you seeking, or managers are you seeking?
Yeah, I need a comedy manager.
Okay.
And I need like a theatrical agency.
Right. Okay. So the theatrical agency will submit you to films and television.
Yeah.
What does the comedy manager do?
It's just a person who basically like kind of knows the industry and just kind of guides your career. It's a vague job, but like, your manager will be like, you know what? I think you should make a video about this. Because I think, and like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. I also want to write, I want a lit agent because I wrote basically a pilot for myself.
Nice.
Yeah. So I want, someone to see that. So.
Wait, so why did college tours need an agent?
Oh, because it's a whole, the way the college system works is there are like 6 or 7 conferences around the US, and every entertainment department at each college attends these conferences, and then they watch all the people showcasing, and then whoever they like, they book them for acts at their college. So the submission process to get into these conferences is pretty complicated. And so you just have an agency to manage it for you. Because if you're trying to do it on your own, it's like, you're like, what? Like, what?
You're like, I don't want to learn the system.
the student council book the comedians?
Yeah, well, the student council will show up to these conferences.
Oh, so you're getting judged by like 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, you're not funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I feel so weird being there.
Wow, your judge is like a 19-year-old. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this kid, he's like picking his nose and like squeezing something. He's like playing with like Transformers. He's like, I don't like this guy.
I wish I was a student council in college just to go to this showcase.
Oh my God.
Awesome. Why haven't you gotten a comedy manager yet? Did you not submit, or I don't know?
You know what? I think that's the kind of thing where they have to come to you. So that's part of what this festival is. It's like, I'm going to basically force a room of people to watch me. With a manager, it's almost like a personal relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like, it has to be organic. And even if you were to submit, like, you would basically be looking up their email on IMDb, being like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? And then hoping to build a personal connection, you know? But
how many comedians does one manager usually have?
Maybe like not that many, but it could be like 5 or 6.
What's next for you? What do you see yourself?
What's next?
Yeah.
For Richard Sarvate.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to take it as it comes. And I think, like I said, I'm just going to keep saying yes. I got to just make sure this festival goes off without a hitch. I want the Bunker to become really successful. Like, we have good Saturday shows right now. I want it to be like a full-time club. Like, there should be shows happening there basically every night. That would be ideal.
Aww.
Yeah. And then I want to have, you know what I want to do? I want to, man, there's a lot of stuff. I want the setup to become like a label, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be like a bunch of comedians will be putting their albums out on the setup label, because the setup is such a good place to record. We're already having labels have their comedians record their albums at the setup, but I think it would just be better to have the setup be its own label. And then I have some tracks streaming on Sirius right now, so I want to get that going, because like XM Radio, like their comedy channels are kind of taking off. Like,
ooh, okay.
Yeah. There's a channel called Laugh USA, and it's like it's all clean comedy, and so like basically people are just driving and listening to their they're driving and like with their families, and they're like, let's put on some clean comedy for the car ride, you know? And so I kind of want to get more tracks on there.
Do these comedian tracks have like a clean and bad version, like music?
That'd be hilarious.
What do you think is the biggest mistake you've made in your comedy career?
Oh, in my comedy career? Oh, you know what? My biggest mistake is, for the long time, I didn't watch other comedians. Like, because I have this thing where I like tune out a lot. And so I would just do my set and then just leave or sit around and stuff like that. But now it's like as I'm watching other people, I mean, these are my peers. Like, we have to like evolve together.
You watch to learn.
Yeah, you watch and learn. Like, the more you watch comedy, the better you get at it. So now I'm like watching comedy all the time. But
what do you think was like the smartest or best thing you did for your comedy career?
Oh, you know what it is? Oh, I know what it is. As not being obsessed with hanging out with the cool kids. Like, because I literally just hung out with people that I got along with, and I made no attempt to be like, oh, that person's like in, like, I gotta like be friends with that person. Like, a lot of times, like, people that have helped me the most are people that are like not very popular and stuff like that, but they have like these weird special skills that, like, you know, you just would never know. And so I was like, oh, these people are my friends. I just want to hang out with my friends and do comedy.
Yeah, that's super reassuring. I feel like people always feel like they need to network with people they don't want to hang out with. So, next question. I strongly believe that to succeed, you have to feel like you're doing something that would cause you shame later on, or else no one else will care.
Oh my God, that's so good.
What were you most ashamed about? I
mean, I was super embarrassed to be doing stand-up, and like my coworkers being like, oh, you go on stage and tell jokes? It feels like a dumb hobby. Like, it felt dumb to have like this dream, you know, like, oh, well, like, who am I? People do that. Like, when you do stand-up, they're like, who are you think you're going to make all these people laugh? It's like antagonistic.
Oh yeah, they're like, we talk every day and you barely make me laugh.
Yeah. Hey, you haven't made me laugh one time. You're a fucking stand-up comedian? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a lot of shame around that. And then I also and I wasn't very good, when I first started. So, all my coworkers came to one of my shows and I didn't do that well. And I had to see those people for 3 years. That was painful.
So when was the first time you were like, I suck at this, I should quit?
Oh yeah, that's all the time. I still feel like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was let me think. 4 months into comedy, I bombed really, really hard at this club in Pleasanton called Tommy T's.
Okay.
And I was I just thought I can't do this. This is too hard. So I took an 8-month break.
Okay.
And, but then after 8 months, I was I have to get back to it.
Was it because you enjoyed it or because you wanted to prove yourself or because you believed in yourself?
Yeah, I knew there was something pulling me towards it. I could just feel it. I knew it was what I wanted to do, and I was it's just, I just had to figure out some way to get back into it. So I started taking comedy classes.
Oh, there's stand-up comedy classes? Was it helpful?
It was really gradual. There were a couple things that I learned that were really helpful. One thing that stuck with me was never to go with your first attempt at something and discard the first 3 versions, and then the 4th, 5th, 6th, that's actually good stuff.
People have such different senses of humor though. So how do you know it's because it's not funny or just because the people you give it to just happen to not find it funny?
Yeah, with stand-up, you really have to have a lot of self-confidence because, usually, Chris Rock has a good take on it. He says that if the audience isn't laughing, it's probably because you haven't explained it properly. It's not that the joke isn't funny. Because it is funny. It made you laugh. So it's your job now to explain why it's funny.
So now it's just delivery, basically.
Now it's delivery. Yeah, I mean, the way I think of it at this point is I'm just not going to stop. So it doesn't matter if I'm good or if I'm bad. So,
because this is what you love to do?
Yeah, I really like doing it. And, if I suck at this, then I guess people are going to have to deal with that.
Because you love it.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. Yeah, this is love up here.
Okay. Let's say you have a friend that you're really tight with and he says to you, Richard, I really want to get into comedy. What is the most efficient way to get there? Give me this 5-minute guide to it. What would you say? Well,
the 5-minute guide to getting into comedy.
Yeah.
No, so you're someone who hasn't done comedy before?
Yeah, basically make the summary of all the best things we just talked about.
All right. Well, the first thing you know what? All you got to do is you got to figure out a way to just get on stage. Because fighting through that initial resistance of just walking to the stage and just talking into it is the thing that scares most people. And so if you can just not think too much and just get up there and do your thing and just judge later, then that's that attitude will help you a lot.
Basically, get on stage as much as you can. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, just get on stage. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you bomb. Just get on stage as much as you can, write as much as you can. It's gonna. Yeah, you just have to keep on going. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry too much about all the logistics. As long as you just keep moving the ball, then eventually everything falls into place.
Right, because if you keep performing, you're going to keep meeting people, and you're going to get more gigs that way. Do you feel like anyone could do it if they tried hard enough and were passionate enough about it?
Yeah, one of my friends was telling me he wanted to do an experiment where somebody would try to become a successful stand-up comedian without doing comedy. So
wait, what? So, you gotta perform, right?
You perform, but you don't try at all. You just go up there and you go well, traffic is weird, isn't it? All these people everywhere. And I was in my car and this guy was jogging faster than me, and then, yeah. I mean, well, you can learn how to do comedy. Because you see the same patterns over and over and over again. And then you just have to, adapt to those.
Yeah. Everyone has a sense of humor. Yeah. Giving you 30 seconds to promote anything you want, shouts to anyone. What do you want to say?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you can now find me on my website, richardsarvate.com, which Christine told me was available. And
Right, I'll give you extra seconds so I can tell this. Fun fact.
okay, yeah.
His website was rsarvate.com because Richard Sarvate got stolen from a Russian hacker who turned it into a porn website and asked Richard to pay him $20,000 to get it back because Richard did not do auto-renew for his domain name. And the only reason Richard now knows it's not a porn site is because I was stalking him yesterday to research this interview. And I was like, RichardSarvates.com is totally available. And he bought the domain during this interview.
Oh my God. That was the main purpose that we did this, is to get me a real website domain.
Because, okay, I'm giving you your 30 seconds back for the shout outs and whatever you want to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in San Francisco, you must go to the Setup. It is the most amazing comedy club. If you're in Los Angeles, you must go to the Bunker. It is such a good comedy club. And also in January, look out for the Southland Comedy Festival. It's going to be the biggest comedy festival that LA has probably ever seen.
All right, guys, that was Richard Sarvate. Isn't he amazing? Make sure to catch a show at the Southland Comedy Festival this week if you're in the LA area. I hope you've learned a lot and you enjoyed my interview. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions for me or any of my guests, please reach out on thenewschoolpodcast.com. I read every message, I swear. Have a great day, guys. Try something new today.